This is my second time trying to record this video. The first time I found out my mic doesn't work very well, which freaking blows. Mic still isn't good. I don't know why. I have a good mic. My mic isn't working. But today we're going to be going over Edwards Brady. And honestly, not a bad card. Not a good card. Yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start at the featured prelim, and or not the featured prelim, I'm going to start at the prelims, not all the way at the bottom. I slept in, because this is in UK time, so when I woke up, some of the fights already happened. Also woke up at 11. I'm on the West Coast, so this was like way early for me. Which, oh no, I feel the suffering of the European fans. Oh no, shut up, you're European. No problem towards European people. I just don't like British people, specifically British people. Yeah. Let's get started. I'm gonna start with the fight that I watched first, and we're gonna end with the main event: Edwards versus Sean Brady. So yeah, let's go. First fight. I'm gonna try to get through these quickly. My last time I tried to record this was 45 minutes, and that's a bit too long. First fight I watched: Marcin Tybura versus Mick Perkin. That was my attempt at a Tom Aspinall impression. Tybura won, decision, 28-27. I'm not mad at the decision. Watching it, I wanted Mick Perkin. If I made a pick, I would have picked Mick Perkin. Also, if you see up here, I have verdict open on my computer. It looks like shit on computer, so I'm literally going to try to use it as minimal as possible. If not, I'll look at my phone. Round 1, Tybura won, cleaner striking. Round 2, Mick Perkin dominated. Round 3, Marcin Tybura and Mick Perkin throwing pretty good. Tybura shot a takedown, didn't get it. Mick Perkin didn't get a takedown. Tybura just landed the better shots. Mick Perkin, yeah, just didn't throw good enough shots. Throughout the entire fight, Tybura was throwing the same combo over and over. I don't know how Mick Perkin didn't pick up on it. Wasn't a fraud check. Mick Perkin definitely has a potential to be great. He just needs to clean a few things up. Really just IQ. Just making better decisions. Like, he was throwing really good leg kicks in the first round that were efficient. Stopped throwing them altogether in the second round. In the third round, threw a couple, and it's like, buddy, it's way too late for you to like try to make an effort with those. So give up. Yeah, but overall, decent fight. Not great. Heavyweights. What are you gonna do? This probably one of my favorite fights on the card: Loner Kavanagh versus Felipe dos Santos. First round, Santos won. Just landing better shots, doing better work, cleaner. Loner Kavanagh was hesitating. Second round, Loner Kavanagh did much better. Slow start to the round, but then Loner Kavanagh and Felipe dos Santos start fucking throwing down, like Ricardo Lamas versus Holloway throwing down. Didn't even point, they just started throwing. Loner Kavanagh lands good on Felipe dos Santos. Santos shoots for a takedown because he was starting to drop, or like it cracked him, so he shot for a takedown, and it cracked him pretty good. You can tell like he wasn't shooting his shot because he thought that was the best shot. He was shooting a shot because he was like, fuck, if I hang in here, I'm going to get knocked out. Oh yeah, first round, Felipe dos Santos cut Loner Kavanagh in his hairline. That was pouring blood everywhere. Then Loner Kavanagh just controlled Felipe on the ground, avoiding the submission attempts, controlled him, beat him up on the ground, landed good ground and pound. Felipe was throwing lots of strikes off his back and lots of elbows, but Loner Kavanagh literally was headbutting his punches and elbows and eating them, and then just throwing heavy shots back, like heavy, hard elbows, hard hooks on Felipe. Third round, same thing. Loner just landing bigger shots. At the end of the round, he started like took his foot off the gas a little bit. He shouldn't have. He was having more success, but should have put a bigger stamp on it. But overall, good decision. Loner Kavanagh won 29-28. Yeah, unanimous. Pretty good fight. I predicted this one right. I didn't make a pick on verdict. This was the first pick I made on verdict, and I got it wrong. And I did terrible on picks on this card, which is really sad. I picked Jai Herbert by decision, and Chris Padilla won a split decision. I don't know how to split. I get it. Oh, well, honestly, when I was scoring... let's look at how I scored it. I scored it... I scored it 29-28 Padilla. But when I was scoring it, I was watching MMA Guru's stream throughout the entire thing. I honestly, first round could have gone to Jai Herbert when I was watching it. First round was, it was pretty close. Not much happened. It was a pretty nothing sandwich fight. What the fuck you mean it's Judge Stone? Whatever. But yeah. Yeah, that's how I scored the fight. Not a great fight. Definitely could have been better. But yeah. Nothing sandwich. Third round, most memorable moment. They started throwing down pretty good. Jai Herbert got clipped with an elbow by Chris Padilla. Chris Padilla was on his back foot the entire fight. Shot takedown, smudged. Jai Herbert cut him pretty bad on his eyebrow right about here, where my cursor is. Brutal, nasty cut. If that happened in the second round, the fight might have been stopped in the third. But thankfully it happened at the end of the third for Chris Padilla. I thought the veteran would win this fight versus this more up-and-coming guy. I guess I was wrong. Yeah. Getting to the main card, I picked Morgan Charrier by TKO in the second or third. I thought he was going to get a later TKO. In his last fight, fucking brutal. He's brutal striker, and in this fight, he was not throwing as hard as he was in his previous fights. You could also attest that to Nathaniel Wood dropping him bad in the first round and then fumbling a finish once again, taking top position and just holding it there for the first round. And then second round, he just was just a better fighter, he's throwing better shots, landing just better. Outclassed him the second round. Third round, pretty close. Nathaniel Wood just did more, did better. Nathaniel Wood won unanimous decision. Wasn't a super exciting fight, but it was a good fight. I got this pick wrong. Started off with my picks 0-2. Great. Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. I picked Jordan Vucenic by decision. I wanted to say late TKO, but I was thinking decision. He's still early in his career. He came in with this aura of heavy punching power. He went in there with Guram Kudaladzé in his last fight. Didn't knock him out, went to a decision. So I was like, okay. I don't know if I'm going to trust the power to the point where he's going to knock out Chris Duncan. But I think it'll be enough where he can win the fight with it. And it looked like I might have started going that way. But first round, Chris Duncan drops Vucenic in a similar fashion to how Arman dropped Beneil Dariush, where he threw a kick and then threw a cross right after the kick. My bad. Then just controlled Vucenic on the ground for the rest of the round. Chris Duncan did. Second round, Jordan Vucenic was defending takedowns better and being able to get off his back better and being able to get off the ground better. And so he was able to throw his hands more. And he started piecing Duncan up. He was starting to piece Duncan up. And then his IQ, we found out, is terrible. Because he shot a takedown and got put in a guillotine and couldn't get out of it. And Chris Duncan got him with a guillotine in the second round. Yeah. And he looked small throughout this entire... I was watching this fight. He looked small. He looked like just a small man compared to Chris Duncan. He did not look like he should be at lightweight. It's like, how tall is this guy? I don't know. Let's look at Jordan Vucenic and his stats. He's 13-4 now. How tall is it? Tell me how tall this guy is. He's 29. He's still young. He's got time. 70 and a half inch. What is he? I don't know how much that is. 5'10", I'm assuming? Yeah, he's 5'10 and a half. Okay, so he's my height. He's 5'10 and a half. But he's not bulky. He just looked small for lightweight. I don't know what I would say is next for him. He's now 0-2 in the UFC. But first fight was against Kudaladzé, did really good. But also, that fight is not aging well, considering Guram got masterclassed on by Fernandez on the first fight of the card. So, but I don't want him to go down to featherweight because lighter man skill, and I just think featherweights would fuck him up. Yeah, because if he can just try to stand and bang with the featherweights, fucking you got Arnold Allen who's gonna fuck up this guy. You got Gene Silva who's gonna fuck this guy up. If he gets that high in the rankings, yeah. Performance of the night, all right, cool. Performance of the night, oh, all right. 3 performance of the nights, all right. We got fight of the night. Performance of the night. Is there not a fight of the night? Yeah, okay. Next fight on the card, Molly McCann, as we found out, versus Alexia Thainara, who came in on short notice, a week's notice. That's why there's no odds. I picked Alexia by second round submission. She got the submission in the first round. I assumed Molly McCann would be better. Just enough where she'd be able to survive the first round and just possibly. I was thinking maybe Molly McCann would piece her up a little bit in the first round and put up a good fight. I'm like, all right, she still got a little bit. She can still hang it. Then Alexia Thainara would take her down and hold her down and submit her in the second. No, Alexia stuck in there on the feet. Was competitive and then just took Molly down, controlled her on the ground, and then got one hell of a rear naked choke on Molly. It was just better, and Molly McCann retired. Yeah. Good performance from Alexia. She's now 12-1. That was her UFC debut against Molly McCann. Good thing Molly McCann retired. Obviously, I was never on the Patty. I'm still not on the Patty hype train. I won't be on the Patty hype train. Yeah. He just looks like shit every time he fights. And then Molly McCann also looks like shit every time she fights. So I was never on their hype train. The only reason she got my attention was because Meatball Molly. You can't not watch somebody named Meatball Molly. And Meatball Molly turned into Molly McCann. So, yeah. She retired. I'm not too broken about it. She wasn't, one of my favorites. Honestly, she was just a name I recognized on cards more. It was like, oh shit, Molly McCann's fighting this night or this weekend. Cool. It's not like, holy shit, guys, I cannot. Are you guys ready to watch the Molly McCann fight? No, it's not like that. It's like, oh, Molly McCann's fighting this weekend. That's a name I know. Who's she fighting? I don't know. Yeah. So, Molly McCann retires. She got submitted first round. She's good. I don't know if she's going to be the best, but she's good. She's got potential. Yeah. We'll see where Alexia Thainara goes. Yeah. Gunnar Nelson versus Kevin Holland. I picked Gunnar Nelson first or second round submission. Boy, was I fucking wrong. Kevin Holland doesn't look like he's going to have a record of 45-70. His grappling defense at 170 is completely different than it is at 185, which is baffling to me considering lighter man skill, and 185 is just full of a bunch of orcs that like to take people down and just hold them and not do anything because they're not that good besides Hazmat and Drickus. And Imavov and Whitaker. So, yeah. Good fight. First round. So, okay, going into this fight, my justification for picking Gunnar was Kevin Holland has looked like shit in his last couple fights. He's not that good. Gunnar Nelson. I don't know. I haven't watched his last couple fights, but he's a good submission artist. He's that karate stance. Kevin Holland has had issues with the karate stance, and he's not good on the ground compared to grapplers. Every time he faces a grappler, he struggles. And Gunnar Nelson's been able to find submissions in harder fights. Gunnar Nelson gets Kevin Holland down at some point in the first round. Wasn't able to pass his guard. Kevin Holland gets up at some point, has his back against the fence at the end of the round, throws a 1-2, drops Gunnar bad. I thought Gunnar was out. They could have stopped the fight. I'm glad they didn't. Just to give Gunnar, the veteran, a chance. Just show he's still in it. But it could have been stopped. You could have justified the stoppage. Because there was 10 seconds left, and Holland was just wailing on him for the 10 seconds, and then landed a shot at the bell. Yeah. And then second round and third round, Gunnar could have won the third. Second round, Kevin won. Just did more damage. Landed better. Gunnar just couldn't land good enough shots or hold him down that well. Yeah. Gunnar Nelson beats Kevin Holland. Or no, Kevin Holland beats Gunnar Nelson. So my picks so far on this card were, I went 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 1-3, 1-4. This one's gonna piss me off. I picked Jan Blachowicz to beat Carlos Ulberg by decision. And Jan Blachowicz beat Carlos Ulberg. Lolberg. I don't care what this big fat red thing that says win on it says, or the fact that this says unanimous. This should have been a draw or a decision for Jan Blachowicz if you're going to do that. But no, this fight was an utter robbery. A split decision. It should have been split decision, not unanimous. No. Jan Blachowicz should have won this fight. Jan Blachowicz did enough to win this fight. He didn't outland Ulberg because, and you're going to say, oh boy, he didn't outland Ulberg. How did he win the fight? Because outlanding your opponent doesn't win the fight. That's not how the scoring system works in the UFC. Damage trumps all. Jan Blachowicz landed bigger, better shots all 3 rounds and landed nasty leg kicks. The only round I would say is competitive or could have gone to Ulberg would be the third round because Jan got sloppy and started throwing heavy, but Jan threw good, hard shots and landed good, hard shots on Ulberg throughout the entire fight. Ulberg couldn't land clean on Jan until the third round when Jan was starting to get sloppy. I had Jan winning 30-27, but I can see the argument for 29-28. Jan Blachowicz. There is no way in this world you can tell me Carlos Ulberg won this fight. Bedtime MMA pissed me off, and this is what made me make this video, by saying, well, Carlos Ulberg, he landed more shots and just did more throughout the fight. He was just output. Output doesn't win a fucking fight, people. Damage. Jan Blachowicz did more damage. He beat the shit out of Carlos Ulberg's legs. He fucking took a baseball bat to Carlos Ulberg's legs throughout the entire fight. Anytime Carlos would throw a leg kick, it would either get checked or just land barely. His leg kicks that he was throwing were doing more damage to himself. Jan Blachowicz was not limping at all. Carlos Ulberg had a visible welt on his legs. Jan Blachowicz was landing good body kicks throughout the entire fight. He landed a good cross in the second round. He landed good hooks in the third round. Ulberg landed a couple jabs here and there, some light leg kicks, a couple hooks here and there that were partially blocked or blocked entirely. Every head kick he threw got blocked by Jan. Jan saw everything Carlos was doing and knew exactly how to beat Carlos, and he beat Carlos Ulberg. Carlos Ulberg does not deserve this win. He does not deserve to be in the top of this division. Jan Blachowicz has proved that he's still at the top of the division. And this is a bullshit decision. Jan Blachowicz should have won this fight. Carlos Ulberg won by robbery. Stats. If you look at the stats, I guess it looks different. My fucking dog. Oh, well, I don't care about Carlos Ulberg. Fuck this guy. Jan beat Carlos. If we had the same judges on this card, would they have given the only difference between the Jan Blachowicz fight against Carlos Ulberg and Jan versus Izzy was that Jan threw in takedowns versus Izzy. I don't even want to get into it. So I went fucking 1-5 at this point. Yeah, I went 1-5 on this card so far. 1-4 on the main card up until the main event, which I predicted perfectly, and I will prove it on verdict with my pick. I picked Sean Brady submission round 4, and guess fucking what? Sean Brady submitted Leon Edwards in round 4. Sean Brady is so good. This is gonna be a glaze fest. Sean Brady bullied Leon. Sean Brady is good. Sean Brady is so good. Leon isn't bad. Sean Brady is just that good. I don't want people saying Leon is bad to take away from Sean Brady's win. Leon isn't great, but Leon's good. Obviously, he was champion and had 2 title defenses, and he had a close fight with Bilal Muhammad. And he won rounds against Bilal Muhammad and got top position and reversed Bilal Muhammad. Sean Brady took this fight on short notice and beat Leon Edwards for the 3 rounds before the 4th round. So it was 3-0 Sean Brady going into the 4th. Leon Edwards had a competitive first round. Other than that, I don't even think Leon landed a single strike in the 2nd round. Yeah, Leon didn't land a single strike in the 2nd round. He landed 3 strikes in the 3rd round. And he landed 20 strikes in the 1st round to 47. Sean Brady just put a masterclass grappling clinic on Leon Edwards, and he looked good. He looked decent on the feet. I'm not going to say good, because he just walked into Edwards with his chin open and is just throwing, kind of like Ronda Rousey, like MMA Guru said. But Leon Edwards was landing some decent counters in the 1st and the 2nd, in the 3rd, and in the 4th. But once Sean Brady took it to the ground, there was nothing Leon could do. Sean Brady is just so good. This is a submission threat that Leon Edwards has probably never faced before in his career. Completely different. And Sean Brady just showed levels to grappling. Leon Edwards was competitive with Usman on the ground. Leon Edwards was competitive with Bilal Muhammad on the ground. He outdid Colby Covington on the ground and was competitive with Colby Covington on the ground. He was nowhere near competitive with Sean Brady in this fight on the ground. Leon Edwards, let's by the way say, if he is right that waking up at 5 a.m. or whatever to fight Bilal Muhammad in the morning did make him worse in that fight, he was still competitive with Bilal Muhammad on the ground. This was him with a full training camp, fully ready, who fought on his time in his country against Sean Brady. And Sean Brady took this fight on 3 weeks' notice, and Sean Brady just put a fucking beating on Leon. He didn't, cut Leon open and bust him up and dog him and maul him. No, this guy just put a clinic of grappling on him. Brady is so good on the ground, and I think he's the best grappler in this division at 170. I think he would give Islam I think Brady would be the hardest fight for Islam in terms of grappling in the division. Oh, by the way, Leon shot a takedown on this guy. Leon's a fucking idiot. Leon shot a takedown on Sean Brady, and it got stuffed, and he got put in a headlock, and then got reversed, and then got submitted. Sean Brady is just that guy on the ground. He deserves the number one contender spot over Shavkat. He has a better win than Shavkat with Leon Edwards. Like, Shavkat beat Ian Gary. Ian Gary is ranked, like, number, 7, 8. Ian Gary beat Neil Magny and Jeff Neal in his last 2 fights before the Shavkat fight. Oh, and Wonder Boy? No, not Wonder Boy. But, like, Sean Brady beat Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards in his last 2 fights. Shavkat beat Ian Gary and Wonder Boy in his last 2 fights. Granted, Gilbert Burns was coming off a KO loss to JDM, but Leon Edwards, former champion who just lost his belt in a competitive fight at 5 in the morning against Bilal Muhammad. Sean Brady, I think, has more argument for the number one contender spot than Shavkat. I think Sean Brady would be a problem for Shavkat on the ground. I think he's a problem for JDM. I think he's a problem for Usman. I think he's a problem for Colby and Buckley. I think Sean Brady is the second best guy in the division. I would go Bilal's the best guy in the division. Then you have Sean Brady, number 2. Then you have JDM, and then Joaquin Buckley. I think those are the 4 best guys in the division right now. And then Shavkat. And then Carlos Parates. But as of right now, Sean Brady is the second best or the best guy in the division. The only reason you can't say he's the best is because Bilal Muhammad TKO'd him on the feet. And even then, he didn't drop or wobble Sean Brady. He literally was just landing so many punches because Sean Brady's defense is not the best. If Sean Brady fixes his boxing defense and his kickboxing defense, this guy's going to be a fucking problem. If this guy gets his boxing defense to the level of, let's say, a Joaquin Buckley or a JDM or literally anybody else, like, if you give this guy a good boxing if you give this guy Sean Strickland's boxing defense, I don't think there's a single fighter who can beat him. Sean Brady with Sean Strickland's boxing defense, I don't know if there's a fighter at welterweight who could beat him. That's how good his grappling is, in my opinion. I've been thinking Sean Brady is this good and is super good. I honestly was surprised he wasn't an underdog coming to this fight, considering he was on 3 weeks' notice and lost to Bilal Muhammad in the way he did. Versus Leon was coming off of 2 title defenses and a loss to Bilal Muhammad that was really close. Yeah. But Sean Brady proved that he is elite. His striking looked alright. He does have his chin out a little bit, but his pressure's good. His combos are good. He throws high pressure, high pace, and big combos, but he does leave his chin open. Defensively, he's not the greatest, but he puts the pressure on you, and then he gets a takedown, and then you're fucked. I think Bilal Muhammad's the only guy who could fight against his offensive grappling in the division. Maybe a Joaquin Buckley, maybe a Usman, maybe a Shavkat. But yeah, no. I don't want people going into this saying Leon Edwards is bad, Sean Brady's mid. No, Leon Edwards is a top welterweight. He won the belt and defended the belt and is a champ. or was a champ, and is a top 5 welterweight, and was the #1 contender going into this fight. And he had a full training camp for this fight, and he didn't fight at 5 in the morning. This isn't, like, this is not, this is a good win. I think Sean Brady is one of the best welterweights in the world right now. And I think he should either fight Shavkat next or fight for the belt after Shavkat. Which, I don't like saying that because I'll get into it in a matchmaking video, but yeah. So yeah, overall, decent card, not great card. I've seen better cards. Yeah, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. I went 2-5 in my predictions. 2-4 on the main card, 2-5 overall for my predictions. And I'll show you guys. I'll be very honest. I picked Sherrier, ZC, wrong. Nathaniel Wood won. I picked Vucenic. Chris Duncan won. I picked Alexia. I picked this one pretty good besides the round. I picked Gunnar Nelson. Obviously got that one wrong. I picked Jan Blachowicz. Got that wrong. So, yeah. But, overall, decent fight card. Sean Brady wins. Sean Brady's elite. Jan Blachowicz got robbed brutally by Carlos Ulberg, and Carlos Ulberg is going to get project. He's been project in the last 2 fights, and he's going to get beat up in his next fight. I think Yuri beats the shit out of him. I think Magomed beats the shit out of him. Pereira beats him. Competitive fights, good fights, but I think they all beat him. I don't think he beats the guys above him in the rankings. I think Sean Brady has a good argument for a title fight. After that, Kevin Holland's still in the mix. He's not completely washed. I don't know what match you do for him next. Molly McCain retires. Jordan Vucenic, I think he needs to bulk up for lightweight and just take some time to get better. Chris Duncan, no idea. Sherrier disappointed me. Nathaniel Wood, give him a good matchup that gets him close to the rankings next. But yeah, no, that was UFC Fight Night Edwards versus Brady. And I'll be coming out with another video pretty soon talking about matchmaking, what fights next, yada yada. But yeah, have a great night, guys.